Tim Cook enters the stage.
Hello and welcome back to Apple Park for our first event of 2021.
The spring loaded has just begun. And I mean, it has just begun. And with it, some tremendous Apple event and tremendous tech launches that I'm gonna talk about. And by that I mean purple iPhone 12, getting easy into it. Then we get Airtgas, refresh iMac, Apple TV 4K, and in my opinion, the star of the event, the new long rumored, long covered on this channel iPad Pro. The 2021 iPad Pro that, in my opinion, just introduced some tremendous upgrades and it's gonna be a game changer in a way that iPad functions. And there are a few reasons behind that I'm gonna talk about later. But let's get easy into it. So we all expected the new iPad Pro and that is exactly what we got. But the refresh itself, I mean overall looking back at the event, I think that this product is gonna be of terrific value. Yes, 12.9-inch iPad Pro was introduced with mini LED and it's a little bit more expensive. But if I look back at it and think about the overall value of the new iPad Pro, whether it's 11-inch or 12.9-inch, all the upgrades that were done, I think these were some crucial upgrades that users wanted, that users needed and expected. I actually didn't expect some of those upgrades. Which upgrades am I specifically talking about? Well, I was surprised when Apple introduced M1 processor with iPad Pro. I mean, we all expected some huge speed bump in the form of A14X processor that would be extremely similar, but I didn't expect M1, literally M1 put into an iPad. And with that M1 we got unified RAM and the amount of RAM got increased to either 8 or 16 GB, which makes me think that Apple is gonna drop some Pro applications right to the iPad Pro. And by that I mean things like Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, things that people really wanted. And now with this increased performance and identical performance to the new Macs, as well as increased RAM, the capabilities of it are endless. The fact that they gave us full version of M1, even with 8 cores GPU, I mean that's crazy. The base MacBook Air has 7 core, they didn't chip anything here, so we have 8 cores CPU, 8 cores GPU, as well as all these machine learning accelerators and stuff like that, along with increased RAM, and that thing I didn't expect. I was pretty much sure that at least 11-inch version is gonna stay with 6 GB of RAM, since it was doing pretty okay on 2020 iPad Pro, and I didn't think they would actually increase the RAM, since they were always going kinda easy, kinda slowly with the whole RAM increasing thing, and yet we get either 8 or 16 GB of RAM, which is kinda insane for iOS, since if you can think about it, the previous Pro already was great at RAM management. It made possible to introduce more and more Procreate layers if you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. And now with increased RAM, it's gonna be even better. The whole multitasking, longevity, the RAM management, all of these things, it's gonna pay its dividends sooner or later, and I think that's terrific. I was, kinda disappointed when I thought about 6 GB of RAM again in 2021 model, and then boom, more RAM. And for me it's a big deal. I know I'm talking a lot about it, but I think that's terrific, and that shows us strictly that we are indeed getting Pro apps. Even though the performance may not be necessarily and exactly the same as MacBooks, since the form factor of iPad Pro is smaller, that's the thermals, and of course they matter, but the speed increase is gonna be still tremendous. And the power of this thing, I don't think that there will be actually a single tablet or a smartphone that's gonna beat this iPad Pro within the next couple of years. The power of this thing, 2020, even though it ran 2.5-year-old processor, was already a beast, and this thing, it's gonna fly. And not only is it gonna fly, but as I said before, it's gonna enable Pro apps. And on that, I'm gonna do another video, so you may wanna subscribe for that. And you can always press the like button if you're enjoying this content, provided of course you are enjoying. And then we have this whole mini LED upgrade. long rumored display upgrade. Some people, actually I was watching Nick Ackerman video about iPad Pro, the 2020 model, and he said he would like to have more contrast on his iPad Pro, and there we have it. For those who are fine with standard LCD display on iPad Pro like I am, it's terrific. It's still you still have that option for a cheaper price when it comes to 11-inch model. And for those who want like have the best possible image, the best HDR experience, you have the 12.9-inch iPad Pro that got a little bit more expensive. So now the price gap is even more apparent. But still, like, you got really terrific display. Is it gonna be a game changer? I don't think so. For me personally, no. I don't really care, since like the regular promotion LCD, Retina, Liquid, whatever, is terrific enough for me when it comes to iPad Pro. So I'm totally fine with the 11-inch version. But like, if you want the best of the best displays on the iPad, definitely 12.9-inch is gonna be terrific, and it's gonna provide you some great image that it's gonna produce thanks to that mini LED, that better contrast, better brightness, local dimming zones. I think overall great upgrade that we kinda knew about, but you know, still nice to hear it finally officially that it's out. There are also improvements to camera, like we have smart HDR3 thanks to that M1 processor that's gonna process the photographs even better. We also have upgrades to front-facing camera, and with that this great tracking features that when you move around your room, your camera uses basically that ultra-wide sensor, and it finally, you know, places you wherever it detects you. It kind of places you in the middle. I think that's great. I don't know how much useful that's gonna be, since most people don't really use cameras that much, but still this is an improvement, and I take that, and I'm fine that they improve at least, even though most people maybe are not using the cameras and they don't care. It's good to know that there are improvements even in that area when it wasn't something that necessarily had to be done, but still they did it. Of course, we still have quality studio microphones, those great speakers, this great form factor. The design is pretty much unchanged. It's identical compared to the 2020 version. Is it bad? Absolutely not. I mean, what could have they changed, really? The design, I'm totally fine with it, and I like it all the way. But what I like even more, I mean, me, not necessarily, since I don't care about that, but I know most people do, and I also watching those leaks and rumors videos, and people actually wanted Thunderbolt port. And now, finally, we have it. So we have like 40 gigabytes per second transfer, and all of those capabilities of Thunderbolt finally in iPad Pro, and that is a huge change for some people, and it's pushing iPad Pro even more and more into Mac territory. And with the introduction of Pro apps that I'm gonna talk in another video, and this Thunderbolt port and increased performance and RAM, this is gonna be such a beast of a machine that's gonna future-proof you in a crazy way. And I said that for me it's not a big deal, since I don't really use that. If I record a video, I record it on my iPhone, then airdrop it to my iPad, so I don't really care about, you know, USB-C Thunderbolt. Probably I'm the only guy who doesn't, but I still love that improvement, and I love the way they did it and implemented that way. And for those of you who are into cellular models, like, you finally have 5G. Yes, it was rumored too, but again, still great to hear it officially. So if you are into, you know, work on the go with 5G, you will have better connectivity, possibly better speeds as the time progresses. So great stuff in that area as well as when it comes to storage. Now we have like 2 terabytes of max storage, which is kind of insane if I think about it. Me personally, I'm fine with 256 gigabyte version, but like, okay, the 2 terabyte version, you know, that's crazy. I like the fact that they improved in that area too. I don't actually think that many people are gonna buy that, but still, you have the capability, and if you wanna use it, like, it's all out. And overall, like, thinking about this upgrade, reflecting about it like few hours later, a day later, I feel like this is such a terrific upgrade, since it wasn't that much to change from the previous versions. They already had it all. The design, Apple Pencil, Magic Keyboard, and speaking of Magic Keyboard, they also introduced the white one, so if you are into colors, you wanna pick maybe a white one, you finally have that option. But like, coming back to iPad Pro, I think that's a terrific upgrade. They didn't have that much to improve, and yet they did that. So now all they have to do is to literally make it possible through software to enable Pro apps, and iPad Pro is gonna be a beast. I mean, it already is. Like, the performance was bumped tremendously, and that was the thing that people were mostly complaining a year ago with the introduction of 2020 model, and now that is fixed. Now we have even more RAM, so artists, people who love multitasking, who work on a big projects, they're gonna appreciate that, and most users are gonna appreciate that, since you know your apps won't be closing probably at all, since iOS is super efficient, and with 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM, that's gonna get insane. The software support of this thing, like with M1 and this increased RAM, is gonna be so long that it blows my mind. The fact that they added Thunderbolt, 5G, more storage, it's really a tremendous upgrade. And like everything they did, they literally upgraded everything they could. Yes, they didn't upgrade mini LED on 11-inch, but as I said, I am okay with that, since the regular display is pretty fantastic. And if you want the best of the best, you just go for 12.9-inch, and you're gonna appreciate that upgrade in the display area as well. The only thing they didn't upgrade that I thought they might as well was the battery life, since when they introduced M1, I thought maybe, just maybe, we're gonna get like 12-15 hours of battery life, but no, the battery life is still 10 hours, but you know, it is what it is. It's a really small and portable device, so I understand that you cannot just put the extreme size of the battery, since it will be thicker, heavier, and wouldn't literally be the same experience, so I kinda get it. But the overall upgrade, in my opinion, is terrific. You know, I'm a little bit excited about this stuff, even though I'm trying not to really show that. But the more I think about it, the more I like this upgrade. And for some people, somehow it may not be a huge upgrade, but it really is. When it comes to longevity, when it comes to the performance functionality, it's gonna be a great upgrade. Just like I hope this channel is gonna be great soon, and that is what we are striving for. So if you wanna see more content like that, if you wanna see how this thing develops, this Apple thing develops, this channel develops, make sure to subscribe, stay tuned for the content. We are gonna make this much better in the next couple of weeks, months. So yeah, until next time.